Go ahead and start. Okay, hi everyone. Thanks very much for coming to my talk. My name is Ed. I work for a company called OpenCage. I head up kind of product things over there. And it's our pleasure to work with many different IoT brands around the world, helping solve some of their problems around geography and geolocation. So I wanted to take you through some of the challenges that we see there. So first of all, if you're here because you think I'm going to give a talk about where we are as an industry, then I'm sorry to disappoint you. That's absolutely not what we're talking about. Instead, we are actually going to get into geography. Where are we? First, a bit of context. These are some of the brands that we work with, hopefully a few that you recognize, some quite large, some smaller and more national players, but doing close to 100 million kind of geographic lookups a day. So we've been doing it for about 10 years. Many players kind of in the asset tracking, location tracking, fleet tracking space. Okay, so with that context, let's dive right in. Where are we? My guess is many of you manufacture location tracking devices or operate location tracking devices, sell them to your customers, and you're shaking your heads because you know exactly where we are, right? If you have a device, this is where we are. It's our old friends, longitude and latitude. Very precise, and we can put that on a map, and that's what it looks like. And it's great. It's absolutely correct. And so we're done, right? We're finished. There's, however, only one small problem with this, okay? And that problem is the annoying humans, okay? And I don't mean humans like you people, like gadget guys and stuff. I mean like normal people, right? And so the issue is that normal people have all kinds of questions when it comes to geography that we try to help our customers answer. So these could be questions like, which port is my container in? How many of my containers are in Antwerp or some other specific location? Which road is my truck on? What is the speed limit on the road? So not just the location, but context about that location. How's my cargo entered the EU, left the EU, entered some certain jurisdiction, has all kinds of legal ramifications, for example. And so these are the kind of questions people have. We're fortunate to work with many of the micro-mobility companies, so all these kind of scooters that you trip on as you walk around town. Of course, people need to know, where are they? Do they need to be shifted back to a different location? And so these are the questions that the customers of our customers have. And the problem is, if your tracking device gives them these very precise coordinates, you're not really directly answering the question, if you see what I mean. So that's the problem. We end up with a situation like this, where this person is getting absolutely correct information, but it's not really solving the problem. So basically what we try to help our customers do is to stop giving their customers a tsunami of kind of correct coordinates, and instead turn that into the useful information that they actually need to get their work done and to do give relevant answers to the questions. So let's try it again. This time, again, imagining that we're normal humans, not IoT people. And so if I go around the room and I ask, where are we? I might get all kinds of normal human answers like, oh, I'm at the Things conference, I'm in Amsterdam, I'm in the Netherlands, this building has a name, of course. Some countries very into their postcodes. Here in the Netherlands, we have very precise postcodes. Some countries don't have postcodes, but some people are very fixated on using postcodes to describe location. Of course, there is a normal postal address. If you take a broader view, we're in the European Union, we're in this neighborhood, and we're in the province of North Holland. So the thing about all of these answers that a human might give is that they are all correct. They are all absolutely precisely correct. And so the question is, how can you, as a network operator, answer these questions, provide the right context, because they depend heavily on the context of the person asking the question and the situation that they need to solve. And it actually gets much harder, because if you've interacted at all with any normal humans, you know that they don't all just speak English. Of course, they have all kinds of different languages, and not just kind of Latin-based languages that are perhaps more easy for for us as Westerners to decipher, but also if you do anything in logistics, you're going to be dealing with Chinese. And of course, we have right-to-left languages like Arabic. So it's a challenge, and we have to convert all these precise coordinates into all these different languages to help the people answer their questions. Okay, and getting all those words can be quite tricky. And so we came with the idea, we as humans came with the idea of let's start making codes, all right? Well, instead of words in all different languages, we're going to use the codes. So you might be familiar with the United Nations logistics codes, a 5-character identifier. So for Amsterdam, we have NLAMS. The problem is then other people had other ideas for codes. So in the EU, we have NUTS codes. Some people like their ISO codes, so NLNH for North Holland. Some people like to use geohashes. There's a new thing called what 3 words. If you're in the military, you might have experience with MGRS codes. So we have all these different codes that also legacy systems rely on, and we need to convert these coordinates into and give those to our customers so that they can use that information in their systems. Sometimes customers also want other information about the location. For example, like what is the time zone that my cargo is in, or things like that. So we're not just converting it into words. We're generating all these codes, all this relevant contextual data. And now it gets even harder, okay? Because the thing is, of course, the world is not static. It changes a lot. Here's a grand opening picture of a new container port. So new things are being built. Old things are going away. We have to keep the database continually up to date. And not just are there actual physical changes, but sometimes people decide to change the names of things, whether that makes sense or not. I leave it to you to make a judgment, right? So sometimes we have all kinds of, let's say, weird decisions about what we're going to call things. But so these are the challenges that we're grappling with, right? And it's easy to get confused and not have the right context for the question of the end consumer. Okay, so, but wait, it is now 2025, so I know exactly what you're sitting there thinking. AI is going to solve all this, right? We're going to, it's going to magically solve our problems. So have any of you actually tried to use AI to generate a map or anything? You might have gotten something like this, which is a very aesthetically pleasing map. It's just complete gibberish and wrong. So have a look, and you can see, it's pretty to look at, but I would not recommend you use this map at all for navigation. There are very funny sites on the internet of bad maps created by AI, ChatGPT, and things like that. Okay, so why is that? Why is AI so bad at this? And the hint is the AIs that we're all using, that we as consumers are familiar with, most obviously ChatGPT, but of course all the others, they are large language models, okay? So they too need the words. All the words, they don't operate mathematically, they operate more on this kind of using connections between words. And so we need to help give them the words so that they can better process these types of queries. And you might say, okay, but the AI is going to get better, right? Well, maybe. But what we're seeing with our customers is that they're generating their own lists of words so that they can create their own LLMs, so that they can help their customers answer those questions that we saw at the beginning. For example, where is my container? Is it in a certain harbor or not? These types of things. And this is non-minor because many of the geographic data providers, they are very, very cost prohibitive to store the data. So for example, our dear friends at Google, they will charge you an arm and a leg if you want to try to store the data, but also if you stop being a customer, you have to delete the data. So that's not great. So we've been working with some of our customers to take their hyper-precise coordinates, convert them into all the different words and codes and all these different location references, and help them, give them the information that they need to get ready to create their own kind of AI future. Okay, wrapping up. So this is the status quo when you're just dumping coordinates on your customers, which again are correct, but they're not solving the question. This is, of course, where we want to get to. So, so these precise coordinates that your devices are capturing, they are correct, but they lead to confusion. And so what we instead need to be doing is providing the precise coordinates, because some systems do need those, converting them into words, codes, in a way that we can also effectively store them so that we can be creating our own AI future. So that is what we do. We can help you with that. We can help you stop giving your customers an avalanche of coordinate data that they can't even process, and it just fills up the database and they never actually look at again. And instead giving them the information so that they can query it in the way that a human would like to query it. Right, that's about the end of things. If this is relevant for you, we would love to help. We've been doing this for many years, very high volume geocoding, highly affordable because we use open data, which also means that you can store that data and prepare yourselves for the AI future. If you would like to learn more, I would love to have a chat with you. So that's it. Thanks very much.